Looking for a wine that is sweet, bubbly, refreshing? I'll see you all of that and raise you an aromatic, intense bouquet that you just can't stop smelling. What golden wine could this be? It'll be none other than the Moscato d'Asti, of course. Hi there. I'm Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching for wild and scarce wines, ones that you don't just see in any old wine store. And while Moscato d'Asti is a common wine to find in stores, wine lists, and shelves, not all are created equal. So let's take a look at the grape, the wine, and see if we can figure out the trick to finding a good Moscato d'Asti. All right, first up, let's examine the grape. Moscato is actually a family of related grapes. They are believed to be some of the oldest varieties in the world, with Roman and Greek authors referencing the wine produced from Uve Appiane and Anathelicon moscaton, which are believed to be Moscato or Muscat grapes. Muscat, or Moscato as it's called in Italy, is grown all over the world, both old and new worlds. And while all are similar in the fact that they are aromatic varieties, for today's discussion we are going to focus on just one particular variety, Moscato Bianco or Muscat Blanc, aka white muscat. Moscato is notable because it is an aromatic variety. This basically means that it has distinct, powerful, and identifiable fruity or floral aromas. And what I find so fun about Moscato is that because of these aromatic properties, the grape tastes nearly identical to the wine. In fact, Moscato grapes are so delicious you can just eat them on their own like a table grape. And because of this, winemakers often try to leave the wine as young and fresh as possible to not cover up these inherent aromatic properties that are found in the grapes and the wines. And one way that this is done, in Piedmont of Italy especially, was invented by winemaker Carlos Gancia in the 1800s. From the Asti area of Piedmont, he developed a way to make a sweet, low-alcohol, frizzy wine that helps to preserve the inherent aromatic, fruity, and floral characteristics of Moscato wines. It has since been dubbed the Usty Method and is now used worldwide. In the Usty Method, grape juice or grape must goes through an initial fermentation in pressurized tanks, similar to the Charmat method typically used to make Prosecco. This involves trapping and dissolving the carbon dioxide to make the bubbles. The difference here, however, is that the wine is not left to completely ferment. Instead, it is stopped once it reached the desired low alcohol level, sometimes as low as 5% in some cases. This means that not all of the sugars have been completely eaten up by the yeasts, and this leaves a residual sweetness to the wine. Once this low alcohol and sugar balance is achieved, the wine is super chilled fast to stop the fermentation. Then it is filtered to remove any of the yeasts. This leaves a bubbly wine with a low alcohol and sweet residual sugars. Now, we've learned a lot, but let's get practical and see how all of this intersects within the glass. I've got here today the Ros du Su Moscato d'Asti from the Evaldi winery. The Evaldi family has been making wine in the heart of the Monferrato wine region for generations, literally. Current winemaker Andrea Evaldi is the fourth generation of Evaldi to farm this land. They focus heavily on their traditional ties to the area, working with local grapes in an old-fashioned way, but always with an eye turned towards the preservation of their land and sustainability. And as we saw earlier, there are few wines in this area as historical than Moscato d'Asti, so it makes sense that they make one. Just to quickly note, the name Ros du Su means rays of sun in the local dialect, which is a perfect name because this wine does sparkle in the sunlight. So let's get started. Right away, I can smell from here, these typical Moscato aromas come through on the nose. It's just slightly bubbling, and so when we taste it, those little bubbles prickle your tongue and blend so nicely with the sweetness. It's really good though. It tastes kind of like a chamomile and honey tea, but in wine form. I could just keep sipping this. And you know, we might have found the key to understanding how to find a good Moscato in the end. And why this is it. You see, some Moscatos can rely too much on the residual sugar content to carry the flavors of the wine, and this will lead to wines that are all sweet and nothing else. And that might be nice for 1 or 2 sips, but they can become very quickly cloyingly sweet. Instead, if a winemaker harvests at the right moment and take care during fermentation and bottling, they can retain important peaks of acidity or salinity in the Moscato that leads to a complexity and a balance. And overall, this creates a better, more enjoyable drinking experience, like with this Moscato here. Which is why you need to pick your Moscato carefully and look for a good one. We here at Vero have already done that for you, luckily, with Ivaldi's Ros do Sul Moscato d'Asti. If you want to taste what a good Moscato is for yourself, check out the link in the description below, or check out the Vero shop on verovino.com to find this wine. So thank you for joining me here today to talk about Moscato d'Asti. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below and subscribe. And if you want to see a different take on Moscato that's slightly less traditional, have a look at this video about Moscato made as an orange wine. I'll see you there, but in the meantime, I'll enjoy this class. Bye.